Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another random review. Today's random review is Calcutta from 1946, which is kind of ironic because in Calcutta in 1946 there was lots of riots and lots of killings. This is part of Kino Lorber's film noir Dark Side of Cinema Volume 4 box set. This is directed by John Farrow, who's kind of an interesting director that nobody really talks about. Amongst the films he directed was Alias Nick Beale, which I've done a random review of, with Ray Milland as the Diffel. The Big Clock, with Ray Milland and Charles Laughton. Farrow did do quite a lot of films with Ray Milland. He also directed a Saint film, Where Danger Lies, Night Has 1,000 Eyes with Edward G. Robinson, A Bullet Is Waiting. A couple of those films are on the Indicator Columbia Noir sets, I believe. So he's a kind of interesting filmmaker who made lots of different kind of films but never really gets talked about. This stars Alan Ladd. Obviously they had to make everybody walk in pits because Alan Ladd, as we know, was only 2'3" tall. It co-stars Gail Russell, William Bendix, June Dupree, also Lowell Gilmore, who again is a kind of name that you might not recognise, but you'll recognise his face. Edith King plays a kind of Sydney Greenstreet character, a large woman who has fingers and lots of pies and smokes a big cigar. Gavin Muir, who looks and sounds a lot like a Cusack, but he's not. The film is about 3 cargo pilots, played by William Bendix and Alan Ladd and their friend, who deliver cargo, fly cargo from Chungking to Calcutta. So we have 2 exotic locations. So there's lots of Indian people in the film and Chinese people in the film. And they kind of get into scrapes and scuffles and Donnybrooks when they're in these places. But they're generally upstanding citizens who are against marriage and settling down, because that would be utterly ridiculous. But the youngest of the 3 says he has met a woman, played by Gail Russell, and they're going to be married. But he says, oh yeah, the friendship will still be the same. And of course Alan Ladd is like, yeah, that's not going to happen, because women want stability and settle down, and we're not having any of that. So there's going to be a party for their friend and Gail Russell. But this gets called off. Alan Ladd gets brought into his boss's office, who's another familiar face, but I can't remember his name, which is the case in lots of film noirs. And he sadly tells Alan Ladd that their friend has been killed. And initially Alan Ladd thinks, did his plane go down? But no, his friend has been murdered. He has been strangled. It's not in Bombay, so it's not the Stranglers of Bombay that did it. But he has been murdered. But all his money is still in his pocket. So it wasn't a robbery. So why has their friend been murdered? So Alan Ladd and William Bendix ask for some time off, and they're going to look into it themselves, because obviously the British police and Gavin Muir won't be able to find out. It needs the very small Alan Ladd to investigate. Alan Ladd is really good in this. He's really hard boiled. His attitude to women is, don't trust them. But obviously he was hurt a long time ago, and this is why he's put up this facade. But he obviously gets to know Gail Russell, and perhaps he has feelings, even though he has. He's already in a kind of relationship with June Dupree, who is a singer. Because as with lots of film noirs, they crowbar in a song in the middle. Why don't filmmakers do that nowadays? I don't know. And as he investigates, obviously more people die. You have the suave casino owner, obviously Gail Russell's character, perhaps in the femme fatale role, she's a suspect. You have a shady Indian businessman who may be a suspect. But again, as with lots of noirs, at 83 minutes, it really runs along well. It's shot very nicely by the same guy who did Double Indemnity, amongst other films. It's just an enjoyable little thriller based in exotic places, as they sometimes did film noirs. Everybody's wonderful in it, especially Edith King, as I say, doing her best Sydney Greenstreet impersonation. She owns the jewellery joint where allegedly the young pilot gave Gail Russell a very expensive necklace, which Alan Ladd is suspicious about where he got the money. So Edith King's wonderful. Gail Russell's fantastic as she goes from innocent to perhaps not so innocent. Perhaps back to innocent, who knows? You'll have to watch the film to find out. But it's another fun, interesting little film from John Farrow, who, as I say, is an interesting filmmaker who doesn't really get a lot of publicity. But Calcutta, if you love film noirs, and as I've said before on this channel, I could watch these all day long. It's well worth your time, because as with the best noirs, they don't hang about. They don't have a lot of fluff, apart from the inevitable song thrown in the middle. But that's Calcutta. It really should have been called Chungking to Calcutta, but that's not as much of an easy title to remember or even say. So thanks very much for watching this random review of Calcutta from 1946, starring the tiny Alan Ladd. Hopefully you'll join me again for more random reviews. Please let me know if you've seen Calcutta and what you think of it. This is Saul Chironin from Saul Chironin Films, saying farewell.